Moving right along to that women's 3K Invitational section, which gives us a chance to talk about one of the stars in this field, including a Bowerman finalist, Pamela Husky of New Mexico. Her first race since competing at BU, and just saw her 5,000 meter time bump down on the NCAA descending order list, so perhaps a chance for her to get a quick time in this women's 3K against another quality field of ladies. Reigning NCAA 5,000, 10,000 meter champion. We'll have Betty Kipcareer of Iowa State, 15th at the NCAA Cross Country Championships. On the start line, Aaron Ringer, who ran a school record 8:48.36 at the UW Invitational 2 weeks ago. Kosguy's teammate Marian Jepengetich, who was listed in the 5,000 but also listed in the 3,000, so it's safe to say she is going to be racing the 3K today. And there's the Bowerman finalists. First race in nearly over a month, or 2 months, I should say. It's been a long time since she has seen the indoor track, going back to that indoor 5,000 she ran at BU. So our pacer in this invitational section is going to be Molly Suro. She's going to go through 1,600 meters around 44.44. And the pace light set for 54.49 around the Dempsey Oval. See the start list, their hip assignments. As they get going around, and the Bowerman finalists right there in second. And a little bit of a trip there at that rail. Again, that's what happens when you haven't ran in a little over 2 months, is just, finding that groove into racing. And again, just finding some of the footing, and her own teammates giving her some of the problems too. So Kosgei kept Jepengetich early on for New Mexico. And it looks like Betty Kipcareer is there in fourth with her teammate Mercy Kibet back there in fifth position. 65.9 of that opening 400 meters for the first five women that are bunched up together with that group behind, led by Mercy Kibet of New Mexico. Maya Cochran of the University of Washington anchored the DMR team to win last night. She's there wearing hip 7, just ahead of her teammate Julia David-Smith, as that second group has now caught right back up to the first five. So 2.5 minutes gone by, and Kosgei had enough of the pacer, goes right to the front and asserts herself away from the rest of the field, and ramping up the pace with Jepengedic moving well up too, along with Kip Correa in third.
Well, Keenan, and you see just what makes her so good. When she wants to move, she moves. Boom, just like that. Just speeds up a tiny bit. And then she just gets out to her VO2 max level and just says, I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to just find it, and I'm just going to continue to push this pace forward. And it's probably one of the things that makes her such a deadly runner. She never lets off. She never really seems to back off, give people a chance to get steady. When she decides to go, she goes.
She is gone and away, but the rest of the two behind her, I should say, have caught right up to her. And now, single file they go. At 1,200 meters in 3:31.4. Husky won the UW Invitational last season in her PR of 8:44.62. As I mentioned, only one race this indoor season, back all the way in December at BU in the 5K. And just as competitive as that 5K was in BU, this 3K is right there with Jepengedic and Kip Correa behind her in second and third, as they're coming up to 1,600 meters. And they'll go right around about 4:41 at 1,600 meters, Dan.
Well, see, now you're making me do the math here because it's a 3,000-meter race. And it's like, well, you should have given me the 1,500-meter split, and I can do half of that. No, but it's interesting the way, we run the different distances. A mile indoors, 1,500 outdoors, 3K and 5K both indoors. And it's going to be interesting, whether it's the conference championships or the NCAA championships, these athletes, or if you want to double 5 and 3, you got to run 2 hard races in 2 days, and that's certainly not easy to do. And a lot of these athletes just sometimes select one or the other. And we're seeing certainly the New Mexico athletes today attacking this 3,000 meters, but ultimately we're not sure where they're going to end up at the conference meet or the NCAA championships.
What we do know is they're ahead of those wave lights, and that facility record of 8:34.45 will be, a tough one to get. That's Safan Hassan from 2018, the Dutch Olympian, making an appearance back nearly 8 years ago. But these women continue to work together with one another and go through 2K in 5:54.2. And Pamela Koska hasn't been able to shake off her teammate Jepengedic and Kip Correa. The fastest time in the collegiate season so far was a collegiate record at the Millrose Games by Doris Lemon-Golay. 8:31.39. Getting into the top 16 requires running 8:51.27. 7 minutes gone by and 2 laps to go. As Maya Cochran leads that second group, Rosina Machu-Shuri there for Gonzaga moving up into 5th position. But the Bowerman finalists having a hard time shaking off Jepengedic and Kip Correa with under 2 to go, Dan.
Well, this is going to be a good finish, but to take you back to the Millrose Games, Doris Lemon-Golay, she beats Jane Hedegren in a big race for the second time this season. She beat her at the NCAA Cross Country Championship, so it's really kind of creating a rivalry that I think a lot of people want to see, certainly. And that next fastest time in the country by Jane, 8:34. But you're right, you get in the top 16, got to run faster than 8:52.30. And Juliet Cherubit of Oregon is in that 16th position.
Over 2 months, and Husky has seen the track, and she's had to have her work cut out for her as Kip Correa senses Husky moving, and so she goes to the outside of Jep and Gedich and is now right on the heels of Husky, and now flies right past her on the backstretch, and Kip Correa takes over the lead for the first time.
Well, she looks really fresh, and she waited there until the straightaway to make that move. Smart move there on the straightaway. Let's see if she can pull away from her.
And Kip Correa taking it to the NCAA champion at 5,000, 10,000 meters, and is in full flight in the final stretch. Husky trying to fight back, but it's not going to be enough as Kip Correa is going to get to the line first and deliver a big win as the Cyclone storms to victory.
Well, I think we're seeing just a little bit of rust there on Husky, not having really raced that much this indoor season. And, certainly some of these athletes, you come off such an intense cross-country season, and you don't want to run week after week after week in the indoor season. But there you see, big win for that young lady, and she moves into the number 4 position in the country right now with that time of 8:44 will put her, number 6 in the country. But I was saying, Husky, she pushes the pace and doesn't settle in. That's the first time that I've really seen her even give an inch in those last 2 laps. Usually she's just so dominant. But that was a nice run there. And I'd have to say that's the upset of the meet so far.
Yeah, Kip Correa entered this meet today